Radio at freedomslips.com. It is 10 p.m. Thursday evening, and we are here live on Studio A. Yeah, you've waited all week for the most cutting-edge topics and guests, and now it is time to deliver. That's right, it's the Stephen D. Kelley Show with your host, Stephen D. Kelley.
Hello, everybody. Oh, welcome to the show. This is the Stephen D. Kelley Show. My name is Stephen D. Kelley. It is Sunday evening, May 31st, 2015, 7 p.m., 7:04 p.m. here in California, 10:04 p.m. on the East Coast. All right. Tonight, we are continuing with the Jedi series, the Jedi 101 series, which is also known as the Reiki series. And we are on our fifth installment. And tonight we're going to have a little more fun. I'm going to cover something I think is really useful, and that is how to use this energy sexually and or with a partner for the purposes of making them feel good. And this is not a bad thing, and I'll get into that here real quick, but I just, I am kind of excited about this because this is one of the more fun aspects and productive aspects of all of this training, and at the same time, it's also a very important part of it and very productive because it's a great way to increase the flow. All right, now, anyway, before I get into that, I got to cover a lot of stuff. First off, again, of course, this is Revolution Radio at www.freedomslips.com, and we are 100% listener support, so please do what you can to help us out. Go to the site support button, which is the donate button on the left side of the homepage at www.freedomslips.com. Anyway, do what you can, please. As always, keep the station up. Okay, this is awkward. I'm trying to raise $20 by the end of the night. So if you guys, anybody else out there will email me at least, or when I say email, I mean PayPal me at least $10. I will email you a copy of my first edition book. I know, huh? Wow. You probably already got the book, right? Haha. Anyway, again, that is my name, Stephen Kelley 714 at gmail.com. That's the PayPal. I'll say it again here in a little bit, but it's a test. I know I don't do this very often, and believe it or not, people think, yeah, there's a lot of people listening, and I do this, and a lot of people respond. They don't. To be honest with you, they don't. So seriously, it's pathetic. But anyway, okay, enough of that. Go past that. Got it over with. Terry Joyce is my producer tonight. She's sitting there being all quiet and muted. I just have to say hi real quick. Hi.
Hello.
Anyway, so this is going to be an interesting show tonight. Let's see, what else did I need to say? Oh, yeah. If you have not joined our our Facebook page, the Revolution Radio Facebook page, please do. It's really easy to find. Just go to your Facebook and do a search for the Revolution Radio or Freedom Slips and click it. It's really weird because we've been running ads for this series, the Reiki series, now for 4 weeks. Okay, because this is the 5th show. So, and this ad that we did actually got less response. I didn't really look at it, but I think we got about half the response that we did for the last 4 ads in a row, which all did phenomenal. As far as people looking at them on Facebook and all that, which is usually kind of an indication of the subject matter and how well it's going over. And I thought this one would be over the top more than usual, but it wasn't. So that's kind of strange. And we were discussing why that is. We thought, well, maybe it's because we're getting into kind of a taboo, and a lot of people out there are uncomfortable with this aspect of all this stuff. But I think that's unfortunate because this really is important. And what we've been doing here the last 4 weeks is we have been trying to provide the listeners with the style adjustments in order to allow you to develop your personal psychic skill, to awaken the energy and the skills and the channel that you are, and to basically turn you into a Jedi, which is a nice convenient term. And when we say Jedi, we're talking about somebody, of course, who selflessly fights against evil, or the dark side, if you will. And we're not going to go into who's who and what's what and who did what to deserve what title, but suffice to say, time is short in this world, and without reverting to fear and anxiety and worry about what's coming in front of us, we need to prepare properly. And that's why we're doing this series, because it is the mental skills and the brain power and the spiritual gifts that are going to get us through what's coming, not killing and physical violence and all that nonsense. We have to awaken the supernatural inside of as many of us as possible, as quick as possible, so that we will be ready to help our fellow humans and work and use our skills against the dark side. And certainly it's a formidable task, but it's also a very noble endeavor. And I'd like to think that all of you listening are doing this because you have this desire to be part of the solution. Okay? I think that goes without saying. I think you're not listening to me because I'm entertaining. I think you're listening to me because you want to know about stuff that you can share with your friends and get the scoop on what's coming before us and how to prepare for these things. And I'm not going to tell you to run out and buy guns and stuff, although guns are fun toys. But the Jedi stuff is really what it's all about. The ninja psychic warrior. We got to do this. We've all got to become Shaolin monks. We got to become magicians, if you will, and we can do it. And this is not nonsense. This is not insanity. This is the other thing. I hope that when you're listening to this show is that you've pretty much figured out right now where I'm coming from, and you know that I take this very seriously, and we're not trying to spout a bunch of nonsense here. So, psychic skill, or chi flow, which is a very big part of the psychic skill, and without getting into describing what all that is, the specifics, mechanics, et cetera, we're going to assume that you already know what it is and you want to increase it. So, 3 of the major ways that you would use to try to enhance your skills or increase your chi flow would be yoga and meditation. Okay, the act of calmness and those exercises and focusing and visualization, all that sort of thing. That all falls into those categories. Okay. Another one, and of course this is the most major, of course, because this is the foundation of the entire Jedi lifestyle, and that is service to others. Okay, it's through service to others that this energy increases, the glow increases, everything increases, and all these various energies that are being created and channeled through the body are all affected by this action of serving others, and that's serving others, of course, without expectation of compensation. Now, a third technique, and of course there may be plenty more techniques, but these are the major ones. A third technique for increasing this is the actually having a partner and the actual connection to the other person. And you pick the most ridiculous times to come out in this room and interfere. All right. My God. Anyway, okay, what I'm talking about, of course, is sex. Okay? And when the humans are divided in this level of reality, of course, we do have these 2 genders. All right? And we both have energy. The male and female humans both have energy flowing through their bodies in both directions, up and down, as we discussed in several shows prior to this. And this is our main channel of energy. And this energy that flows through you is in one direction is male, and one direction is female. Obviously, we've discussed this quite a bit. And for lack of a better word, we should probably look at this concept of the male and the female energy as a plus and a minus polarity. Okay, just like on a battery has a plus side and it has a negative side. It has a top and a bottom. Both sides are just, they're not one side is not more important than the other, and there is really no physical difference. It's just a contact, if you will. It's a flow. It's a direction indicating a flow. So the human species works in much the same way. Now, all of us, in order to reach a state of enlightenment, which we should all be trying to achieve, which basically is a combination of all the knowledge and wisdom of the universe, if you will, gathered up. It could also be looked at as a cultural, the accumulation of all cultural knowledge as established at the time. And we're a pretty advanced society right now, so that is actually a pretty substantial amount of information. But in order to go to the next level, that information level has to be exponentially greater than what it is now. And that is what enlightenment is having all of this information. And of course, this information, when you look at information, there is no good information, there's no bad information. We don't judge the information, and we just store it up and gather it, because it's just like facts. You have to understand all these facts, and you have to know all these facts. That's what enlightenment is. When you are, but in order to achieve that, you really have to have this balance of the yin and yang, okay, the male and the female energy, all right? And that means physically that the energy flowing through your body has to be flowing through and up and down in equal amounts. And this is very, very difficult for most people to do. Historically, the single people who are most able to do this often were homosexual. All right, they exhibited strong components, strong male components, strong female components. All right, for instance, the eunuchs, of course, were used for these purposes. The American Indians, naturally, the members of their tribe, the men that had the feminine tendencies, were also known to be the most gifted seers and shamans. And this is because of this male-female energy balance. Okay, now for your average person of heterosexual persuasion or otherwise, and we'll get into all the variations here in the course of the evening, this is very difficult to do because men tend to be a little more on the male majority, or majority yang, if I get that right, the yang energy. And women, of course, obviously are going to exhibit femininity beyond their masculine aspects. If they have any masculinity, it's going to be relatively minor. So bottom line is this means that your average male and female are going to be very out of balance. It's like far from 50-50. So during the encounter, and I'm going to discuss the mechanics in great detail, because that's what this is all about, is the mechanics of the energy. But to start out with, during an encounter between a man and a woman, or at least for the get-go, we're going to start out with a standard heterosexual combination. You have a physical connection being made. All right. Obviously, in a standard missionary position situation, you're going to have a physical connection from the root chakras of both people, as well as, if you're doing it right, you're going to be kissing, and you're going to have a connection that's obviously very physical. All right. It's those two physical connections act like taking wires and connecting them together. Okay. Now you've already got the energy flowing through you. The men have the energy coming from above, flowing downward in greater amounts than they have energy coming from below, flowing upward. Women tend to have energy flowing from below upward in greater amounts than they have flowing downward. So, during the connection, this energy continues to flow through the people, but a large portion is diverted through these physical connections, through the genitals and through the mouth, to create a circuit, a circular circuit that goes around and around and around and around. And the direction that it travels is very much, well, actually it travels in both directions, but the majority of it is going to be the male energy. All right, we're going to talk about that. Now, normally the male energy only travels downward, but during sex, and this is very interesting from the standpoint of symbolism, and we'll discuss that. During sex, the energy that travels downward from the man out of his root chakra into his partner's root chakra, up her body, up her spine, and out basically through the mouth into the other person, and around and around and around it goes. But because it's constantly being enhanced by the energy coming from the man going downward, this is building on the energy. Now, remember, the woman's energy is traveling upward, which means that as the man's energy travels down and goes back up, the woman's energy joins it and combines in that circle continuously. So what does that mean? So that means instead of having a flow just going around or going straight through you for the most part, by connecting to a person, now you've got that flow not being wasted, not going, well, I shouldn't call it being wasted, but it doesn't go, it's like taking a garden hose and instead of spraying it right onto the ground, you're putting it into some circular system where it's just building up, like almost like a water tank, if you will. That suddenly it becomes more like a tank. So what does that mean? By combining this energy and by recirculating it over and over and over during the entire process, the energy is gaining amperage, if you will, or pounds per square inch, if you want to look at it from a fluid standpoint, and the volume is increasing. Now, as the volume is increasing, it's almost like, and I used this little symbol here before, it's like a little dry creek that has a little trickle running down it. Well, if you start increasing the flow exponentially down this little creek, before you know it, there's going to be erosion, and that creek is going to become something the size of the Grand Canyon. And for those people that aren't living in the United States, that's a big giant ditch that was caused by erosion over a million years. Anyway, bottom line is that the action of what we're describing here causes the channel that your chi is flowing through your body to become larger and to be able to accommodate a much larger flow of energy or chi. Okay, so right away that should tell you that the fastest way to get really strong chi flow is through this. So it's true. Now, mechanics here. Okay, well, let's see. The energy as it travels, it's also in a spiral. Okay, we mentioned that before. It travels, and then as the male and the female combine, they create this double helix. It looks exactly like our DNA. Yeah, of course. Anyway, but what that means is that as it's traveling through your body, is that because it is circular, it also means that on a grander scale, that we know that if you look at the energy from a horizontal standpoint, because pretty much it travels vertically, but if we look at it horizontally and we know that it's spinning, we know that the male energy is coming down clockwise and the female energy is going up counterclockwise, then we know that in the male that the energy is primarily clockwise, and in the female the energy is primarily counterclockwise. Now, we use this in healing, of course, because we know that with the energy flowing in these directions, we know that a man his left hand is going to be his out hand. He's going to be pushing the energy with his left hand. And he's going to be receiving the energy or inhaling it through his right hand, in the palm area to be precise. Okay, I'm not talking fingertips here. Fingertips are strong, but your energy is actually coming out of your palm. It's kind of like Iron Man. You see Iron Man shooting. He opens up his palm and he shoots a little beam out of his. That's kind of what we're doing, only we're really doing it. It's humorous when you think about it. All these superheroes. We're actually going to do this stuff. Only people think we're crazy for thinking that we can, but guess what? All these people that write this fantasy stuff, they're not that creative. Anyway, okay, so now what's important about this understanding which hand to use, and again, is because during an encounter with a person, and obviously this is something that you will probably experience even just doing clearing of chakras, because as I mentioned before, when you're pushing energy through a person, especially a person of the opposite sex, typically, male energy going through a woman certainly is going to have a little more of an emotional effect than through a man. But when you're doing a heart chakra per se, and you're cleaning a heart chakra, obviously there's a lot of emotion involved, and it's very common that a lot of emotion is going to be released, which can be, I don't know, embarrassing perhaps for the person, I don't know, but the thing is that, and people should understand this, and this is pretty important, this is key, is that your sexual energy and your psychic energy are the same thing. Okay, they really are. And that doesn't make it bad, but in a way, when you think about it, this is kind of important because religion. This is a great point to bring up. I wasn't really thinking about this, but I'm going to do it now. Religion, of course, just about all religion, if you look at it, organized religion, suppresses sexuality, obviously. And, certainly they repress other things. Hell, I wonder if the Jews running around with their little blocks of wood on their foreheads, if that's supposed to be blocking your third eye, perhaps. That's kind of symbolically, that's for sure what it looks like. But the Catholics, obviously, the Catholic Church has been suppressing this, and naturally, and I don't want to say patronization, but the patriarchal society or aspects of the religion have been doing everything they can to remove the matriarchal parts of it. And obviously, when you talk about balance is important, and balance of female and balance of male is very important. But when the so-called goddess religions or earth religions start pushing the female over the male, they tend to get out of balance, and they tend to be doing the exact same thing that the males are doing, only they're doing it from a female perspective. I know that even, let's say, for instance, there's a big temple in Orange County. They call it the Goddess Temple, and it's run by a lesbian woman, but that's irrelevant. But the point is that it's a good example of where they really kind of miss the whole balance thing, and they get over, push the female way too much, and you got to really be careful with that. And the thing is that, again, one isn't better than the other. It's just that one is more light side and one is more dark side, and very easily you could argue, well, you can't have one without the other, and I don't want to get into that because that's technically that's very satanic. But the thing is that there is a balance on this level of reality. I mean, we're going to go to another level where that doesn't happen, but on this level there is. So we live side by side with it, but for the time being. And the female energy, it travels upwards. I brought this up in the last show, is that you've got to really watch out for any sort of practice that increases the flow in one direction as opposed to the other, especially the upward direction. Activating your Merkaba does that. I know a lot of the Kabbalistic things are very much involved in that. And let me see, I don't know who else does that. But the thing is that you really go, no, that's right. I thought it was something else, but I don't want to get confused with the use of monoatomic gold. That was the other thing. But anyway, the point is that you don't want that. So you really got to be careful and watch out for that. But anyway, that's the nice thing about sex, is that it does allow everyone this opportunity to basically get the flow going in both directions, and at the same time increase the overall flow, and you become stronger as a result. So, when you increase your chi flow, it's sort of like weightlifting. Okay, obviously, the more you do it, the stronger you're going to get, and you want to keep doing it, of course. But the point is that once that channel is open, it's going to pretty much stay open, unless you close your chakras, of course. But we're going to try not to do that. All right. I'm going to get into a little more detail here. Looks like we just passed a half hour. But before I get into the details, I want to go over the Reiki principles one more time. And this is important because if you can't get past this, you're never going to get past any of the rest of it. But that's not to say that you can't learn from what we're going to talk about tonight. I mean, obviously anybody can move energy. You don't have to be a Jedi master to move energy. But I'm just saying that if you serve others and become a Jedi master, you're going to move energy really good. So all these things that we're going to learn tonight are very helpful. And I should point out that when I go over these Reiki principles, people think, "Oh God, that's so hard. It's like this lifestyle that we have. It makes it so hard to do that." Well, that's why I'm talking about the stuff we're talking about tonight, because I'm trying to show you that if you do develop this lifestyle, that the fringe benefits are very fun indeed, and you don't get this from the dark. Let me put it this way: the bad guys don't get to do these things. Okay, obviously, and now, of course, the Templars, were very heavily based in sex magic, if you will. That's what all their stuff was. It was a little homosexual in nature, but that's what it was. Just a bunch of guys, so that's how they did it. But regardless, this is what they did, and essentially what they were doing was Tantra. And Tantra, of course, is pretty much exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight, for lack of a better word. But of course, Tantra is a Buddhist practice. It's actually a branch of Buddhism. The Dalai Lama is a tantric Buddhist. But that's irrelevant, because it doesn't. I don't care who you are. If you learn to do these things, you're going to have a hell of a lot better marriage, to say the least, and you're going to be able to make your partner, anyway, have a lot of fun. Probably get addicted to it too, real quick. Anyway, but all right, okay, here we go. Reiki principles 222. Reiki rule number 1. Just for today, I will not be angry. Okay, anger, negative emotion. You cannot have negative emotion. That's louche. You can't have it. You can't have anger. You can't have fear. You can't have envy. You can't have heartbreak. You can't have any of that stuff. You have to keep it. And that seems really flat and nothing. But I'll tell you, if you just seem cheerful all the time and don't let anything bother you, that's what it's all about. Don't let anything bother you. We talk about this a lot. We just got through a lot of shows. I don't care if somebody stole everything you own. If you let it bother you, you lose everything. Okay? So you can't let it bother you. Don't get angry. Rule number 2, just for today, I will not worry. Well, technically, that's the same thing. Okay. But that has to do with the past, the present, and the future. Okay. And this is important. So you're going to have no negative emotions whatsoever. You're going to keep cheerful and calm. And you're going to not worry about what happened yesterday. You're going to forget about it. You're going to not worry about the things you got to do today. What's going on in your life. You're not going to stress. And you're not going to stress out about what's going to happen tomorrow or 20 years from now. Go with the flow. Don't stress. As soon as you stress, it's all over. You lost all your power. Number 3, just for today, I will be grateful. Obviously, grateful, cheerful, that's kind of the same thing, but that's really what it's all about. You got to be grateful for everything. If you want to manifest things in your life, if you want good things to come to you, you have to be thankful that you already have it. That's how things come to you. It's not coming because you're asking for it. It's coming because you're being thankful for having it. And you do that before you even have it, and then you will. But that's the trick. That's how manifesting works. Oh, it's getting dark. I had to turn the light on. Okay. Number 4, just today, I will do my work honestly. Obviously, have integrity. I mean, come on. You can't be a Jedi if you're, working for the dark side and being selfish and stealing. That's not going to work. You got to be honest. Last one, just for today, I will be kind to every living thing. Well, what is that? That is unconditional love. Okay? Got to learn to have unconditional love. You got to be kind to everything. Be kind to animals. Try to be kind to plants, and be thankful. And I'm not telling you to be a vegetarian. If you're going to eat an animal, just be thankful. Let that animal, let that spirit know. Let that salad you're eating that you're thankful. I'm serious. Thank your salad before you eat it. Trust me. You got to do it. Okay, those are the 5 Reiki principles. All right, I'm not going to do the 9 abilities or any of this other stuff because we already did it before, but we can do it again. All right, I'm going to get into more of the sex stuff here, but okay, we're halfway through our show. Okay, I'm going to open the phone lines, and obviously this is definitely a show where I want people with questions to call in. Okay, and my God, don't be embarrassed. All right, this is for real. Okay. I'm serious. I look around at these couples and I know they're having a crappy life. I know women want more and the men can't do it. And oh my God, if everybody could learn how to do this, you have no idea. You have no idea. I guess I'm going to have to get really graphic real soon. But yeah, I'm going to get graphic. Screw it. All right. Send your kids to bed. I'm going to get graphic. But anyway. All right, the phone-in number, calling number, 347-688-2902. Okay, 347-688-2902. I hope you wrote that down, and I'll give you my PayPal again real quick, like I promised, and that's Stephen Kelley 714@gmail.com. Wow, I haven't checked it. Okay, but seriously though, if you do that though, send me an email too. Don't send me an email to that email because that's not my email that I use. I'll give that out later, but that's just for PayPal. But I think I'll get your email with PayPal, and if you want to send a message with the transaction, just say that send me my book. All right. Okay. All right. All right, Terry, you ready for this? Huh? Yeah.
Yes, I am. I am ready. Get graphic.
Get graphic. God. You think the public's ready for this?
I think the public's ready. I think there's more going on reality television about this, and than I mean, not about this, but I mean, how graphic can you get that's already out there? I think they're ready.
I can get pretty graphic.
Well, I bring it on.
You bring it on. All right. Well, this is sex ed, really. It is, but at the same time, you're not going to hear this anywhere else. Trust me. Okay. All right, guys. All right, remember, visualization is everything, as we talked about. Visualization, the whole moving of energy thing is visualization. Think of it as like air, okay? Think of it as like you're pushing it with your lungs, okay? Now, when you're breathing and when you're pushing with your lungs, you also are using your diaphragm, right? Everybody's got this in their body, and you breathe in, you breathe out, you're moving your diaphragm up and down, okay? Now, I believe in yoga that this exercising the diaphragm is incredibly important. And you'll notice that in yoga, a lot of times you're drawing the diaphragm up inside you, right? Okay, well, that is the female thing. Obviously, with the male, you push, it's pushing. Female are drawing in, male are pushing out. Okay, that's just the way it is. All right, obviously, during sex, all right, women obviously deal with it, but that's just the way it is. But during sex, the woman is getting everything. Okay, the man is really giving everything. I mean, obviously, the man is getting something, certainly, especially if he's has lip contact, because then he's getting the energy coming back into him from her mouth. But for the most part, most of the energy is flowing in a downward direction. All right. Obviously, when a man ejaculates, he's giving energy, all sorts of energy. I mean, obviously, semen is alive. Okay, it's full of energy. It's like massive amounts of living material that contains genetic coding, and not just genetic coding, but actual living scalar functioning going on. I mean, there's stuff going on right there, and that's just the physical. The non-physical, of course, is the energy, the information, the pulse of energy. And certainly that's going through. Now, I'm going to say this. In ancient China, it was mostly the empress, I believe, the high-ranking nobles of the court. They would use these eggs-shaped stones, place them up inside of their body cavity, and they would perform these exercises with these eggs. And that's a whole subject into itself, and we will get into that a little bit. But they also call this vaginal weightlifting, because usually these eggs, a more advanced user would have a string or something attached, or a small chain attached to the one side of the egg, and that it would you could attach a weight to the bottom of it, and obviously you would suspend this thing and use your muscles to hold it up inside of you and keep it from falling out. And it's the action of using those muscles, and I guess that's also what Kegels are, but the action of using those muscles, the contraction, the lifting of the diaphragm, contracting of those vaginal muscles, is the very same thing, of course, that happens during sex, and it certainly happens during an orgasm, and it certainly happens during the man's ejaculation, because the energy is drawn upward. Okay, it's always drawn upward. So those physical movements and actions are actually designed to cause upward. Now, during a sex, naturally, those actions are designed to cause the semen to be drawn upward, naturally, for procreation. But at the same time, those muscle movements also cause the visualization or the actual movement of the energy. So in other words, if you were going to try to use your imagination and your powers of visualization to move this energy in that direction, you would use your diaphragm in the same way, your lungs, your breathing, and you would use those muscles, and you would contract and you would draw upward, and that's what takes place. Now, obviously, with a man, it's the exact opposite. And here's my chance to get really visible. What do you mean by that, Stephen? Well, kids, when you are, golly gee willikers here. Now, boys, when you're with a lady, you tend to be pushing. All right, you're pushing out of your root chakra, if you will. Okay. Obviously, during the build up and climax, there's a lot of pushing going on, and it's those actions, the lowering, the pushing on the diaphragm, the squeezing, it's almost like urination, if you will, squeezing your bladder. It's the same kind of thing, but those are the actions that you use to actually move the energy in that direction. Okay, and during sex, that's exactly what you're doing. and the male and female each have corresponding physical activities that they do during sex that causes this energy to move. Now, we all do this, those of us that are active, we all do this subconsciously, okay? And obviously, this has a lot to do with the life process anyway, because when you are creating life, it's not just a biological thing going on. Obviously, there's information, there's DNA activation, there's all sorts of things going on in this process. It's God, yes, God is involved. I'll say it, but that's what that is. But obviously, you're not making life every time you're doing this, but you are moving energy nonetheless. And sometimes during coupling, yes, that's the whole purpose of it, is just to move the energy. And those of us that do this, we know that these are great opportunities to increase that flow. But like I said, it's mostly the male giving the energy. So that's why the females can be looked upon sometimes as a succubus or a vampire, because they can give a lot of energy. So guys, you want to find a girl who's going to give the energy back too. But for the most part, you're gifting her. Okay, you're gifting her. Obviously, during the male orgasm, all that energy, hell, if there's no partner, it would go out and do nothing, right? It's going to splat, it's gone. Okay, yeah, it's kind of like throwing your chi on the ground. It's the same thing, because that's exactly what you're doing with a woman. You're giving it to her, and she's going to get off on it. And she's not just going to get off on it sexually, she's also going to get off on it spiritually and energetically. And that's really why sex is the way it is, because it is so energetic. It's what it is. Remember, psychic energy, sexual energy, same thing. Couple references I want to make. They talk about, and again, these are more from the feminine aspect. Of course, obviously the women have it better than the men, but during the female orgasm, I guess, there's what they call touching the face of God, if you will. Okay, that's kind of what it's called, and it's very brief, of course, but it's something that you want to try to achieve, obviously. And women who are lucky enough to do this, obviously they want to do it as much as possible, but that's kind of what it is. And what that really is it's kind of going, it's sort of like taking a DMT trip for a second. Obviously during a female orgasm, it's a big deal, but you leave your body for a second. You do go to the other side. It's very, very brief, but that's exactly what it is. Okay, that's the so-called touching the face of God thing. Very desirable. Now, the Kundalini. We talk about the flow of Kundalini. Obviously, these are things spelled with a K that you want to research. Stay away from Wikipedia, of course, but research that, and you'll see where it comes up in culture. But when you are aroused, and it's the best kind of course, it's more of like an energetically aroused. It's not your basic horny thing, but when you've got that going on, and I'll kind of think of it from a female perspective first. The energy starts flowing upwards. Okay, when the female is being excited energetically, the energy starts rising through her body. They call that the Kundalini rising, but that's what that is. That's the chi flow is increasing. Sexual energy is increasing. Remember, psychic energy, sexual energy, same thing, but it's moving. It's moving upward. Okay, the flow's moving. That's the Kundalini rising. It doesn't really happen to men. Obviously, with the men, it goes in the other direction. But that's where that comes from. Now, I talked about moving energy, obviously, through normal sex. You're moving energy in a nice circular pattern through the root chakras, up through the body. You can also use your hands. And you can use your mouth. Oh, gosh. Gee, Terry, which should I cover first, hands or mouth?
I would go with hands first.
Go with hands first? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I hope we get some callers. I hope
I do
I hope
too.
they're not all scared, like they're all going, I'm embarrassed. Okay, guys, I'm talking to the guys now. All right, I can't really address the women so well because I'm not one. I can only tell you what I do. All right, anyway, guys, this is what you can do. Wow, here we go. Okay, first of all, you can move. Wow, I got to take a drink of tea for this here. Is it break time yet?
No, it's not.
All right.
You're about maybe, I don't know, well, 10 minutes away maybe.
Did
So what
I
happens
bring
with the
up my
hands?
PayPal? No.
What
All
what
right.
happens?
Back to work.
All right.
Okay. All right. Now, first of all, obviously, we use our hands when we're healing, right? We do Reiki with our hands. We push energy without our hands. Our hands allow us to tell where things are happening. If you're running your hands over somebody's body, you can usually tell if there's an issue with a part of the body, because the body will talk to you, and it will the information will flow into your body, flow into you through your hand. Okay, now. So, and we talked about heart chakras. Okay, so obviously, if I place my hand on a woman's chest, right there on her heart, and I start pushing, exhaling, this stuff's going to happen. Now, if I have my hand somewhere else on the body, I'm going to create a circuit, and I'm going to push, and it's going to go through that point and out to the other point. All right, we do that when we're healing. It's the same thing. You place an affected part of the body between your hands, and you're moving energy as a circuit, and you're just basically like washing it off with this flow of energy. During sex, it's the same thing. You can move energy through specific parts of the body. For instance, like I said, hands on the heart, obviously, you can move energy. Now, if let's say you move the one hand to the back directly behind, you can move energy directly that way. That's a big deal. If you can also do okay, now energy is intelligent. Yes, it's going to flow in the direction from obviously, guys, it's going to go from left hand to right hand. So it's going to flow in the direction where you put your hands, assuming, of course, that you're priming it and pumping it and moving it. And we'll talk about that real quick. But heart chakra is a great place to start. And then where you put your other hand is up to you, depending on the person and who that you're with, and their connection to you, and their amount of complementary energy to yours, and their chi flow, and all these other things will determine how receptive they are to that energy. Okay, so point is that if all those things are working well, you're both very energetic. It is possible, kids, to place your hands on a person in certain spots, and that person will let's see, really enjoy it a whole lot, and they will see the face of God. It's possible, yeah. You can cause a woman to get off basically by touching her, and if you know how to do it, and you move the energy, and she's receptive to that. During sex itself, obviously, there's no reason why you can't do this also. Even during a standard connection, you can still place your hands at various different parts of the body, and you can move energy like that. Certainly, obviously, typically though, if you're having missionary type of a position, you're going to be pushing it anyway through your root chakra, so it doesn't really matter. But guys, if you are treating your lady to another means of satisfaction, and if things aren't going quite as smooth as you would like to, you can put your hands on either side of her hips, right between where the action's going on, and you can move that energy from left hand to right hand. And you sync up your breathing. And as you're doing this, you're actually pushing energy with your mouth in your hands at the same time. All right. And I promise you will notice instantly something changes once you start doing that. But try it out, folks. Try it at home. It's okay. It's safe to do this at home. Certainly, with a person that's willing to practice with you. But that you can do. Now, again, because the energy is potent and because it's intelligent, you can really easily get to the point to where you don't need to take your clothes off to do this. I guess it's too premature for me. I said premature. It's too premature for me to get to that yet. But let me just say this: when you have a good connection with somebody, a good partner, and you've been doing this, and you're connected to this person in all the ways, not just physically, but you're also connected to them spiritually, psychically. I don't want to say economically and what have you, but there's lots of different ways to be connected to somebody. But if you got that good connection, what'll happen is, again, according to how receptive they are, you will be able to just to think about that person and make a connection. And now this happens, of course, psychically anyway. We do this anyway when we are connected to somebody psychically. I mean, everybody knows, like, twins do this. I'm a twin. You know what's going on. When you're psychic, you kind of get to that point anyway. You know what's going on, but it's stronger when you have a connection to somebody, either a physical connection through sex or a long-term connection just through association or a relative per se. But obviously, when you have sex with somebody, you establish a physical connection. It is like a rope that goes from you to them. It doesn't go away. Okay, and people talk about of course, like when the man leaves his gift in the woman, it doesn't go away. No, girls, it doesn't go away. Okay, it may wash out, it may go away eventually. You get in there and clean yourself and what have you, but you know what? It never goes away. And what is it not going away? Genetically, the DNA never really goes away. It becomes part of you. And that energy that you've taken into your body never goes away. It actually modifies your body. It actually changes your DNA ever so slightly. But that's kind of what healing does, So you're getting that energy, the same thing. That's another thing wonderful about sex, of course, is not only does it make you a better healer, but it also heals you. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure it probably does. Oh, I'm getting ready. I think it's like about time for me to take a break here real quick. We're going to be hearing music in a second. Remember, this is the Stephen D. Kelley Show. Don't go away. I want you to call in. The call-in number is 347-688-2902. We're finishing up our Jedi 101 Reiki, couples Reiki. And if you have any questions, and again, I'll do more, but if you have any questions, please call in. Stay tuned. I'll be right back in about 5 minutes.
Radio at freedomslips.com. We'll be right back after this message.
This is Thomas, a.k.a. a Mad Painter. I'd like you to join me Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Open Canvas. Don't forget to bring an open mind.
Yes, folks, that's right. Bring an open mind to an open canvas. Again, that is Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. UFOs to government corruption. This is Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Imagine. Just imagine.
Imagine a world
where every child and adult will have the opportunity to achieve their dreams.
I believe my inspiration is the answer.
My inspiration is the greatest light.
The greatest energy.
It was born when the universe was sparked to life.
It's within everything.
My inspiration transforms pain into happiness.
And failure into success.
My inspiration inspires lives.
It inspires lives.
It inspires human lives.
My inspiration is always shining like the sun.
But it doesn't mean that it's alive.
For centuries, my inspiration was in prison.
In prison.
In prison.
It doesn't belong there.
Its home is to be known to all people.
My inspiration is in trouble.
We are fighting for its life right now.
Right this moment.
This moment.
Millions all over the world want to go beyond their limitations.
Liberate their dreams and reach success.
The failure of us all to be someone
is the biggest disease
of all time.
Each day our brothers and sisters die. Please help us to birth this inspiration to life.
And that will stop this disease.
Help us get the word out of our inspiration.
Help us.
Help us.
It's our shared belief for a better future beyond the horizon. Let's write the future.
Heroism is here.
Stand up and grasp it.
Stand up.
Stand up and grasp it.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up. For the dreams of all people.
This is Night Hawk from Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. And now is your time to stand up and make a difference or fade away. Fade.
Transcending time and space, let us take you to the place inside your mind where thoughts divide and mysteries unwind. Join us every Monday evening right here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And you will catch the Fenton Perspective with our great host, Lorian Fenton. Come listen in as she shares her amazing stories from the past to present, along with all of her guest secrets to the future. That's the Fenton Perspective every Monday evening right here from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Revolution Radio. Oh, and you don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Did you ever feel that things were not quite right? That everything was just ever so slightly askew?
Do you have, to paraphrase Morpheus, a splinter in your mind?
If you're interested in hearing the latest information about UFOs, the paranormal,
ancient cultures and structures,
monatomic elements,
longevity,
fantastic discoveries in science,
downloaded to your brain,
then tune into us. Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mackie.
And we are Shiny Side Out, Sundays 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here. The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Oh my gosh, I have to tell you guys something. There's so much I want to say. I got to get back to the show, and there's some good stuff I've been thinking about during the break, but Vera. Vobear. Oh my gosh. Vera, are you guys listening in chat? Where's that Vera? Oh my gosh. Vera, what am I going to do with you? You silly girl. Anyway. All right, I'm not going to say anything because she, all right, I'll tell you. She sent me $10. Thank you, Vera. Obviously, I need another $10. But Vera, you are the only one that sends me anything. Stop that. Jeez, thank you. But gosh, girl. All my listeners, and Vera's the only one that sends me. It's like, Vera, thank you. Anyway, okay, back to work. Gee, kisses for Vera. Hugs for Vera. I'm sorry, guys. All right. I'm happy. See, it doesn't take much to make me happy. Tiny bit of love. Wow. Thank you. Believe it or not, that was the most I got so far for my birthday. I was a little disappointed, but I thought that would be really, it is really ridiculous to even mention, but thank you, Vera. God, you don't know how much I appreciate it. Anyway. All right. Somebody mentioned love in chat. I want to get into that. I need to talk about that. But there's something else I want to cover real quick that I started to talk about previously that I need to cover again. And that's kind of the historical taboo issue. And I want to look at it through the standpoint of various religions. And first of all, of course, obviously, the Catholic Church suppressed female everything for a long time. I mean, certainly, you take your pick, witchcraft, you name it. The feminine energy was suppressed. Women were suppressed. It was very ugly. And, of course, now we know why. Okay. Sex was taboo. Everything was taboo. Now we know why. The Templars, of course, and I'm not making a judgment on the Templars personally. They're not my they're not my buddies, but they based a lot of their rituals and what have you on a sexual tantric type practice that was designed to enhance their chi flow, their energy, their psychic skills. That was a very, very big part of what they did. Obviously, they were involved in what we're doing right now, but from a dark side standpoint. Now, clearly, when the Templars were, persecuted in, Friday the 13th, of course, is when Simon de Molay, the head Master Templar at the time, was executed. Naturally, they were accused of all sorts of heinous crimes, and usually these crimes were involved with the worship of Baphomet. Now, Baphomet, of course, they'll tell you, is nothing more than a male fertility figure. All right, obviously, yes, Baphomet is a male fertility figure per se, but Baphomet is also the demon, the goat's headed, horned thing that you see so often with its fingers pointing up and the cloven hooves and everything else. Yes, that is essentially a rendition of Satan, but needless to say, the Templars, of course, worship Baphomet. But it wasn't so much the worship of Baphomet, if that wasn't bad enough to burn them at the stake. But they, of course, obviously, they were busted for committing all of these bizarre homosexual activities. And again, of course, they were doing these things for the purposes of increasing their chi flow, and it was sex magic, but it was institutionalized in what they did, and obviously the church was going to suppress that. Now, the Catholic Church, of course, is not the only major religion to do this. Now, as I mentioned, the Dalai Lama, of course, is a tantric Buddhist, okay? And of course, the mainstream media and society in general completely ignores this because Tantra, of course, is almost entirely sex, but it's also involves the moving of energy and the desire to touch the face of God, if you will, through this process. And back in China, when all of that was developing, that particular sect was being heavily suppressed, been persecuted, and you'll have to do your research about Tantric Buddhism to get these precise dates and locations and what have you. But essentially, the acts that they were involved or performing, used the sex acts that they're performing in the process of their trying to achieve enlightenment, were considered taboo and were kind of moved underground, and so to speak. I mean, obviously done in the privacy of the bedroom. Per se, but it was a religious practice, and it moved into the privacy of the bedroom in order to facilitate it being accomplished. And again, it was the purpose of it was to increase energy. Okay, and and this is not a bad thing. Remember, it goes hand in hand with meditation and service to others. Okay, so it's a very much a necessary part of life, and there are some people that don't need to deal with it. And obviously, I have to address the whole homosexual issue, but I will get to that. But for most humans, this is a very key part of balancing and moving energy, and it is obviously being suppressed. So now, I'm not suggesting that elements of our society that are seeking to break down barriers and taboos and the destruction of the nuclear family and all that, I'm not saying any of that is good. Okay, obviously, and I'm not being biased here, but obviously heterosexual sex is more productive. Okay, and that's just the way it is. But, all right, I guess I'll get into the homosexual stuff. I've had this conversation with people. Okay, a lot of times when it comes to gender and gender assignment or gender identity and all that nonsense, people have to understand that large portions of that issue, and I'm not talking about your genitalia now and what you were born as, but your energy, again, that's flowing through your body is going to have an effect on your masculinity or femininity, okay, obviously. And certainly your hormones have a big effect. Your glands, I'm not sure, let me see, what is this? Not your pineal, but your pituitary, I believe it is, that produces the hormones. And is going to produce the testosterone as well as the... oh, I just got a little message from Bo Bear. Thank you, Bo Bear. Okay, and the thing is that people naturally have fluctuations of this energy flow. Okay, so that's not bad, and obviously people can be born with inordinate amounts of male energy or female energy. So obviously this is a lot to do with why a man is going to be feminine or a woman is going to be masculine. This is going to be because of this energy. Now, obviously, your pituitary is a physical gland and can be affected, and the amounts of your hormones can be affected. Certainly, your testosterone can be affected, and your estrogen can be affected. When you take drugs per se, and this happens a lot of times, a lot of the pharmaceuticals and even things that you have in your diet are going to affect your testosterone production. And this can be a problem for a lot of reasons. And I'm talking to the guys now, when you, if you are on some sort of a drug regimen and it's causing feelings of confusion or whatnot, more than likely that's what it is. Okay. Now, everybody needs to be aware that our society is doing all sorts of things to hurt us. I mean, we all know that. We're getting chemtrails, we're getting GMOs, we're getting poison, we're getting radiation, everything from microwaves to cell phones. It's all designed to kill us and to stifle us and to hurt us and make us docile and control other aspects of our lives. But one of the biggest things that they try to do is they try to what I call pussify the men. And that's emasculate the men, and they try to decrease testosterone production. Okay, testosterone is a big no-no in America. All right. Now, how is that so? Your testosterone is made in the body actually from cholesterol. Okay. I know we're getting off the subject a little bit, but this stuff's important. The cholesterol in your body, people say, oh, cholesterol is bad, high cholesterol levels is bad, but cholesterol turns into testosterone. Okay, now this is important for the men, of course. When you're eating your bacon and whatnot and you're loading up on that cholesterol, you are actually loading up on the fuel or the basic components necessary to create the testosterone, which, of course, is created by your pituitaries. All of these drugs, these statin drugs, these things are designed to lower your cholesterol. This is all poison. Okay, if there's any of you listening right now and you guys are on high cholesterol drugs, you need to probably get another doctor, and you need to get off those damn statins ASAP. All right, you got to do it. One of the another thing about cholesterol is that, or should I say, cholesterol is that when you drink water that has been purified using chlorine, which is pretty standard in the United States, the chlorine in the water basically causes the cholesterol to turn into plaque in your arteries. Okay, the cholesterol needs to be there in order to build the testosterone, but if you're consuming water with any chlorine in it whatsoever, and even if you're drinking bottled water and avoiding the chlorine, you're still going to get it in your shower. If you've got chlorinated tap water in your shower, you're going to be soaking up a 10-minute shower. You're going to get a lot of chlorine in your body, just as if you had drank a ton of chlorinated water. And that's not good. But I guess, back to the subject is that you want to promote that testosterone production, guys, really. They do that because they want us to become weak, and they want us to be timid, and the last thing they want is us to become angry at them for all the horrible things that they're doing. Hang on, I got to look at Tony Pazek sending me a message. Oh, okay, well, Tony, I'm going to look at that. Oh, no, hang on, Tony, I'm going to send you a message real quick. Tony's asking me what my PayPal is, so I'm going to give it to him. Stephen Kelley, Kellel. Let me see if I printed that right. EY 714 at gmail.com. All right. Thank you, Tony. Boom. There you go. Hope he gets that. Anyway, okay, back with the show. Let's see, where was I? Oh, yes. Okay, testosterone. Okay, so they're going to try to suppress that. So just like they're trying to suppress your sex, they're trying to suppress your testosterone. They don't want you to have lots of muscles. They don't want you to be strong. They certainly don't want you to be angry. And they want you sitting on your couch watching football and cheering on the guys on steroids. But that's the other thing, is they're not going to let you have steroids. Oh, no. No. You can't have. No. Artificial testosterone? Oh, no. No. Men can't have that. Oh, my God. They might, become men. Can't have that. Jeez. As you can tell, obviously, there's nothing wrong with steroids. All right? No. Steroids can be abused. Oh, for sure. Obviously, you can kill yourself. Clearly you can kill yourself with steroids. And anytime you're sticking a needle in you, it's something artificial. It's not the best thing. But there's nothing wrong with steroids. But the thing about the steroids is when you are using male testosterone, your ability to produce the testosterone is going to be, it's not going to be taken away, but it's just going to be, it's not necessary. It's going to become kind of dormant. And a lot of people say, oh yeah, your nuts are going to shrink, but that's not really the case. Okay, it's at least not that I'm aware of. But the thing is that what happens is if you are on a very high testosterone regimen, you got to do a couple things. You've got you don't just start going into huge doses. You wean yourself up. You start with tiny doses and you wean yourself up to the full dose. And usually you're doing a 30-day regimen, and then by the end of the 30 days, you're bringing the dosages back down to very low. And typically, when you reach the end of that cycle, the 30-day cycle, you're going to take a estrogen blocker because what happens is that it takes your natural testosterone production takes a little while to wake up, and during that period of time, the estrogen production can kind of take over, and you have to kind of minimize that. Otherwise, you're going to be like Bob on Fight Club. You're going to be Meatloaf with big, huge boobs. Everybody remember Bob on Fight Club? That's what happened to him. Okay, anyway, that happens. You get man boobs. So you don't want that. Okay, let's see. Oh, you know what? All right, first of all, it's time for callers, okay? It's time for somebody to call in and ask a question, and don't be squeamish. first thing I want to know is if you guys are enjoying this program, if you're enjoying the show, and I want to know what you want me to do next. If you want me to continue with this stuff or what. And I know everybody's been enjoying it, and I'm hoping you're enjoying what we're doing tonight, but I do need the feedback. I do need to know if you guys want me to go in another direction or if I need to continue or what it is that you don't think I haven't done yet that you'd like me to do more of. Okay? Again, the call-in number is 347-688-2902. All right, let me see. Who's going to be the first caller? I hope I don't have to, give you guys incentives to call in, but call in. Come on. Anyway, again, Volbear, thank you for your help. Tony, if you help me out, I appreciate that too. But you guys, I'll look at that stuff later. But anyway, I do want to remind you, this is the Stephen D. Kelley Show, and this is Revolution Radio at www.freedomslips.com. And we are the world's largest listener-supported internet radio station. And what that means, of course, is that we have the most shows on going 24 hours a day. And, of course, we have lots and lots and lots of listeners, which is fun. Okay, I'm going to say something on the air right now, okay? Nighthawk, I really kind of doubt he's listening. It's kind of late for him. But Nighthawk is really good at what he does, all right? You guys listening to me? I don't normally say this, but it occurred to me tonight. Okay, I'll talk about the mouth. I'll get back to the mouth, guys. It occurred to me tonight when I was listening to some of the ads and stuff that Nighthawk puts together. He is so good at this stuff. And I've been trying to put together this radio station, Epoch Radio Station. And I want you guys to know that I haven't given up, especially those of you that have been supporting and are going to have shows with me and stuff. I still want to do it. It's still a dream, and I'm not going to flake out on you. But again, there's a learning curve, and there's a certain amount of quality that we want to deliver that we're not quite available to deliver yet, and we need to get there. And a lot of that is because we are used to the way Nighthawk does everything, which is so good. And to try to emulate that is going to be so darn difficult. And it's anyway, I just want to commend him for the skill and everything that he does to put this together, because I know a lot of people don't really appreciate what his effort. They think he's just taking all the money and da-da-da. But it is incredible. And if something happens to him, we're kind of screwed. So, but to be honest with you guys, I do want to have Epoch going on, but I hope to God that I can do it as good as he does. And I to be honest with you, I'd like to see him involved somehow, okay? Because he's just so darn good at what he does. So if you hear this Nighthawk, we need to talk about that. Okay. All right. You want me to continue? You guys want me to continue? Okay. Well, okay. Thank you for that causation, but I do kind of need more specifics, what directions you want me to go for the next show, of course. Now, okay, the mouth. Okay, who was it to want to know about the mouth? Okay, Olive.
Me.
You
started it. You said you went to hand to mouth. You said, which one should I do first? And for the mouth.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Talking to the guys again. All right, I guess I'm going to talk to the women this time.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to talk to the women this time. Oh, God. Here we go. All right, everybody. All right. It doesn't matter if you guys or girls. You're using your mouth. You are using your mouth. You are performing something with your mouth, okay? When you are doing this, you are able to move huge amounts of energy, okay, with your mouth. All right. Now, obviously, oh, gosh, I got to get graphic. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Do I actually have to say this? Okay, here we go. All right, girls. Okay, when you are when you are performing fellatio, you are sucking, all right? That action is drawing inward, okay? It's physical, obviously. You're trying to, extract fluid, but at the same time, you're extracting energy, all right? Guys, you're trying to release that fluid. You're also trying to release that energy. You're pushing to release the fluid. You're also pushing energy. You're pushing it. You are massive amounts of energy. Okay, you're using your diaphragm. You're using your lungs, and it's like this is what you're doing. Okay, it is a gift. It truly is, believe it or not. But it works both ways. Okay, obviously, girls, the guys are pushing the masculine energy, the girls are pushing the female energy, right? You want it to be going in both directions. Okay, like I said, it's mostly the male energy that's being received and being given, but female energy has to be given too. All right, and this is where it becomes one-sided, is if it's not being done. All right, now girls, obviously you're sucking, but you're breathing at the same time. Okay, and as you're breathing, as you're exhaling, you're pushing the energy. Okay, in this case, it's the visualization process is you're pushing the energy into the body through your mouth, but it's like you're exhaling through your mouth, but you're pushing. All right, you don't want to be breathing like like taking a breath like I can't breathe. You're gagging. No, I'm not talking about that. It's a visualization process. Okay, but it coincides with your breathing. Okay, so when you want to do this, in any kind of energy movement, when you want to do this, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to sync up your breathing. You're going to think about it, and when you begin, you're going to begin with a push. You're going to push out. You're going to exhale. And then you're going to, as you inhale, you're going to draw in through the other hand. Wow, I can feel that. I'm just doing it myself. I could just feel it. It's almost like I've got a big vent on my hand. I can feel it just going in my hand. It's just, that's how strong it is from doing it so much. But during sex, it's the same thing. Remember, I said you can push with your hands, you can push with your mouth. Okay. Chakra points. Obviously, chakra points. You could push energy into a chakra point through your hand, right? Okay, all the 7 major chakra points. You can use every one of them, front and back. Obviously, the root chakra, the crotch area, the groin, the genitals, is a major place, because on the woman it's the input, on the man it's the output. It's where a lot of stuff is going on. It's a natural connection. Obviously, the forehead is, the mouth is, the neck, the area between the chest, the solar plexus, the stomach. You kiss a woman's stomach, all these areas. You want to go from top to bottom. Start with the root. Start with the crown. Start with kiss the crown chakra. Push your energy. Maybe do it while your hands are on the root chakra. You see what I'm saying here? You're always about moving the energy. Different places of the body. Okay, remember, chakras go in 2 different directions. They're usually parallel to the body. They're moving out the front, and out the back, and in the front, and in the back. Okay, you can use this. You use this information. If you're aware of the direction of the energy, you can use this. We're going to talk about how you can use this. But right now we're talking about when you've actually got your hands on your partner. Okay, and the different ways you can move this energy. Chakra points. Wow. There are secondary chakra points. Okay. We know the main chakra points, but there's lots of secondary chakra points. The woman's breasts, the nipples, are a major secondary chakra point. Okay, do I have to explain? You see where I'm going with this? Using your mouth, using your hands, pushing that energy. These are, every place you put your hand is going to do something, all right? Just like when you're healing. It's the same thing. Okay, it's all the same thing. Oh, we got our first caller. Okay, 949. Whoop, we lost him. Okay.
That's a mistake.
That's a mistake.
Sorry.
Okay, all right. Let me get back to it. We do remote healing. Okay, we talk about doing remote healing. Okay, you can have remote sex too. That sounds really bad, but you're missing someone, you want to send them some energy, it's really easy to do. Obviously, you can send energy without doing anything. You just have to think you have that connection. You can certainly, send it psychically, certainly. But there's other things you can do. When you hold your hands in certain positions, you can channel the energy. Your arms, your hands, they can be like antennas. They can be like pipes directing the flow of the energy, catching it with one hand and shooting it out with another hand. Kind of the same thing we're doing when we're touching somebody, but we can do that without touching the person. We can continue to do this without even touching the person. Okay? I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to send your root chakra energy to your friend's root chakra who's not in the same room with you. Could be anywhere in the world for that matter. It doesn't matter as long as they're alive. Okay, 951, hang on, I got to finish this. Men, guys, you can try this. It helps if the other person is ready to receive. Okay, obviously. Just like with healing, you want the other person to know that you're going to do this, and you want them to be sitting there waiting for it. Okay? But you can take, remember, guys, your left hand is your out hand, and your right hand is your in hand. Okay? That means you can actually take your right hand, place it over your root chakra. I think you know where that is. Oh, got to squirt the cat. Whoops, turn it. And, yeah, I have Justy a sprayer, my sprayer, but this cat's tearing up the couch. I was trying to spray him with some water. Anyway, you can send it out your other hand. All right, let me just say that again. You can suck your energy right out of your root chakra, where all your action takes place, and you can send it out your left hand, point it up at the sky, and just blast it out the universe, and aim it at your whoever it is you want to aim it at with your imagination. All you have to do is think about the person you're trying to aim that at, and they're going to get it. They're going to feel it. They're going to go, whoa, what did you do? The better you get, the better you're going to be able to do it. So, all right, bottom line, all this stuff that we're talking about here, these are just some of the fringe benefits. All right, so if you want to be really good, this is work on these skills. In fact, everybody that's listening, I hope you work on these skills. I hope you're practicing holding up your hands and trying to move the energy and practicing your breathing. Well, now you got a whole new set of skills that you can apply this to. Okay, so get at it. All right. All right, 951. Who's this? Hello. 951. Unmute your microphone.
Can you hear me?
I can now. Who's this? Okay. Well, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, I don't know what happened. This is Olive. Can you hear me?
Yes, for the third time, we can hear you.
Anyway, I got kicked out of chat there for talking about your show here.
Olive?
She seems to love to kick out people who donate to the station.
Okay.
Hold
on, Olive, hang on. You know I'm
going
to take care of you. Okay, good.
That ain't why I called.
Let's
but
not talk about
is a wonderful lady.
Yes. Thank you, Bo
does, yeah.
Okay. So what's going on, man? What can we do for you today?
Okay, the wolves. Well, I have to say this. So don't hang up on me. You do want people to donate to the station and in your name, right?
Well, I don't know.
have
What are you
before.
asking me? Oh, well, that's cool.
Come on.
You know, I mean, obviously, I don't get any of it. It's all good. It's nice. I'm happy when everybody does that.
It just gets me a little bit, because I know a lot of people that aren't here no more that used to donate.
I see how you got in trouble. All right, you got in trouble because you posted a picture of a woman weightlifting, vaginal weightlifting.
Yeah, she's weightlifting. It's helping them post.
Well, she has clothes on, right? She has clothes on, I hope.
She has clothes on. You don't see nothing, lady horse. My God.
Well, anyway, it happens. Okay. Anyway, people
the world's
do this.
Strongest protect. Can we read it, or is it?
No, we don't need to. We don't need to read anything from HuffPost. All right, I'm boycott HuffPost. But thank you for sharing that. You verified that yes, people actually do that. But
that's what I was trying to do. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Or anyway, be careful when you post stuff like that. You're going to offend people. But all right. Anyway, no big deal.
The thing is, you were talking about it, and it came from the Huffington Post. I looked at it. I go, well, this ain't Treadline. Looks a little,
Okay. Relax. It's all good. Okay, Olive, calm down. Calm down, Olive. You're forgiven now. Calm down. Okay, let's talk about something else. Go on.
Okay, so you're having a sex show. There's so much more that men don't know about sex than women know.
Well, I'm teaching right now, so I'm teaching people stuff that I wouldn't think you're going to hear somewhere else. But did you have a question?
You're doing a good job. It's a great show. I like it.
Have you learned anything? Have you learned anything? Have you learned any tricks that you're going to take home and try to put to practice?
I know a lot of tricks myself.
Well, I'm sure you got all kinds of tricks.
But you're doing a good job. I think most people don't know what you're talking about now.
All right. Well, I hope they do.
Women are feelings driven, and men are logic driven. If they could just understand how much that women like to feel their way through things, a lot of them, and it's quite important.
All right. Well, let me just say this, Olive. What you say is true. Okay. That there is that difference, okay, and let's just suggest that those are I don't like to use the word symptoms, but let's just say those are attributes of the different types of energy. So the male energy is typically going to be a little more logical, and female energy is going to typically be a little more emotional, a little more sensitive. Okay, right? Got it, right? Okay, well, so in other words, it's like those are just attributes, but what really all about is the energy. See, because the thing is the male energy, it doesn't just come with logic. It also comes with a lot of other stuff, like competitiveness, like some anger, and like all sorts of things usually associated with male. Just like with women usually have a lot of things associated with them. Like, for instance, too much estrogen is going to make you a bitch, okay? And usually when a woman is having her period, she's having major excess amounts of estrogen, and you better stay away. And that's usually why. A man can do the same thing. When a man has too much estrogen and not enough testosterone, he also becomes a bitch. And we refer to that medically as the angry male syndrome. Now, they actually treat that with testosterone replacement. But the thing is, though, is that that's happening a lot in our society. But the thing is, though, is that we don't want to say one is better than the other, because they each contain certain attributes that are, some are more positive than the others. Okay. Now, this is why we are doing exactly what we're doing here. By joining two people together and mixing that stuff up, you get to experience the stuff that you don't have, just like she gets to experience the stuff that she doesn't have. Okay, this is why we got to do this, is so that because first of all, like I said, unless you're some asexual, you pander on both sides, some sort of whatever you want to call that, bisexual, homosexual, whatever, more than likely you're not going to be able to do that. This is why we need to do this. Something I should address, okay, I didn't do this yet. I want to get this over with real quick. But gay sex, okay. The thing about gay sex, again, remember, good sex involves a balanced amount of male and female energy. If you have somebody that is approaching 50%, they are going to probably be attracted to a person who also is approaching 50%. That's just the way it is. In a heterosexual relationship, that means a very feminine man is going to look for a very masculine woman, and vice versa. In a gay relationship, you'll see one is going to be more feminine than the other, whatever. It's that balance thing. The balance has to be there for it to work properly. A lot of times the balance is not there, but those relationships don't tend to work. So it's always about the balance. During a physical connection with a homosexual couple, the flow must be taken into consideration. Obviously, as we said, a female flow is mostly upwards and a male flow is mostly downwards. So when you position two bodies together, unless you position those flows in opposite direction, you will not get a circuit. It will only go in one direction. It's always going to flow from the top of one person down to the other person and out. That's the way it is. So in a homosexual encounter, that has to be taken into consideration if you are trying to achieve a circular path for your energy. And I don't need to explain how that works. Figure it out. Female go up, men go down. During sex, you want it to be going in opposite directions. Okay? Now, again, the whole reason for creating the circuit is for creating balance. That's why you want the male and female energy. So in a homosexual situation, assuming that people are balanced, you are going to expect with two male or two women that typically it's going to be a little bit too much in one way as opposed to the other. Who's to say? You don't know. We don't have devices that allow us to measure that energy. Usually we do it visually. We look at the person and go, oh, she's butch, or oh, that guy's kind of femmy, that kind of thing. But that's what it is, okay? Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, it's interesting that you're talking there also about Tantra and earthly Tantra that the Gnostics practice in groups of 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 8, and 16 in groups. Actually, it's interesting how the Nag Hammadi will talk about how that propels the dark archons.
Let me get into that a little bit, okay?
Like you said, there's a difference.
All right, let me cover this, okay? And this can be also a way of homosexual sex doing the same thing, but it also can happen heterosexual. It doesn't matter. But during Tantra, typically, the desire is not to climax, okay? All right, during Tantra, you want to reach that face of God as many times as you can during your session. Okay, that means you're going to get close and you're going to stop. You're not going to go all the way. All right.
Right.
For guys,
the women love the tease.
Obviously, okay, women can have multiple orgasms. Multiple. Every woman is different, obviously, but some women, they can just boom, 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 boom. Okay, every time they do that, they're getting way the hell up there. Okay. A guy, it's not the same thing. Guy, boom, that's it. If you're lucky, a couple hours later, maybe you could do it again. But yeah, for the most part, a guy cannot do that. All right, but that's giving it all up. Now, what a guy can do, and this is what the Templars did, and this is what you can even do with your partner, is that you don't go all the way. You get close and you stop. All right, that sounds like torture. Trust me, it is torture, but that's what the Templars did. That's what they did. Oh, I don't know what that was. But anyway, the Templars would sit there, and I hate to get graphic, but, and I've never been to a Templar ritual, so I can't really say for sure, but I suspect that, okay, Olive, stop that. God, stop trying to push your buttons while we're on the air. I know, you're trying to beat me. Is that it? You're bleeping me?
Am I accidentally hitting some button here? See, I'm
you're pressing it up against your face.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out which button I'm pressing.
I thought you were trying to bleep me. Everybody, I'm not getting bleeped. That's all I'm pressing is phone. Anyway, but let me see, where was I? Yeah, obviously what they would do is they'd probably sit there and fondle each other or themselves until they were ready to climax, and then they would stop and they would repeat the process, and they probably did this all day. Okay, that's how they got their chi flow up. Anyway, that's part of the temple. All right, Olive, you're not coming in too good, man. All right, listen, as much as I appreciate Olive coming in, I want someone else to call in. All right, you guys.
Anyway, thanks for taking my call, brother.
All right, take it easy, Olive. All right, don't stay out of trouble. All right, talk to you later. Yeah. Go practice your tricks. All right. Go on. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Okay, guys, listen, all you listeners. I want feedback, okay? I want you to go home to your significant others, and I want you to practice what we've been talking about. And then I want you to come back and tell me what happened, how it went, okay? I want to know if you, I want to know if your partner all of a sudden started making extra noise all of a sudden as soon as you started with your breathing exercises, okay? That's the quickest way you're going to know something's going on. They're going to go, oh, like, what did you do? Oh, what's going on? Anyway, that's how that works. All right, Terry, you have a question? Terry, is that you?
Yeah, it's back to my original question was the Tantra and how the man doesn't climax to get the chi flow going. How often should a man do that? I mean, again, do they go the whole entire time and they just don't climax and they move on and they go about their day?
You mean for Okay, all right. Let me just suggest this. All right, let's say, let's turn this into a Tantra lesson first of all. Okay. All right. Obviously, the first lesson in Tantra, and this is really, really basic. If you want to do this, if you guys want to start, if you want to do this tonight, you want to go home and practice. If you're getting ready to wait for the show to be over so you can practice, this is what you do. All right. The girl sits in the guy's lap. Basically, this is a sitting up situation. This is not laying down missionary, although missionary works, but typically it's sitting in the guy's lap with the legs straddled around. Obviously, you can do this with clothes or without, but if in a sexual situation, it's obviously it's not with clothes. But obviously, with clothes, it probably would behoove you to not go all the way, right? but it's the same thing. So, and I really don't know how difficult this is. I'm sure it's kind of hard for most people, but that's what you do. You would be in that position, face to face, and you would just go at it. But every time you got close, you'd stop, take a breather, wait for it to pass, and then start over. I know that sounds, for most people, it's probably impossible, but that's how it's done. And then obviously you don't do that forever. You don't go, oh, that's good, I'm done, and then hold it. No, come on. Don't be mean to your guy. Let him have a happy ending. Just if you can do it a few times without doing it, then every time you do that, it raises up the energy to a certain point, and that you only get during ejaculation. So that if you want to have that over and over, that's the only way you can do it. Now, women, of course, hell, you don't even need to. Obviously, you don't even need to be having sex to make a woman go through that as several times. Certainly, well, I guess technically, if you're making a woman do that, it's considered sex. But point is that that's just one of the nice things that women can have. They think they got it so bad. Hey, guess what? You get to have multiple orgasms. We don't get to. Anyway, and as a result, you get to have massive amounts of extra chi flow that we don't get. But hey, service to others, right?
So is it okay? Is it okay for him to have a happy ending eventually, or does he not have to?
Of course. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that at all. I'm just saying that the actual benefit is, or exercise, it's like lifting weights, right? You're going to do it over and over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, until you get tired and you had enough. You can't take it anymore. It's the same thing.
Okay.
Right? Anyway.
Right.
All right. Darn it. Where's the call-in number here? All right. It's time for some brave soul, not just Olive, to call in. It's 347-688-9202. And remember, this is also your opportunity to give me some feedback about the show, or what you want me to do next week, or if you think, really what I need to know is what I didn't do. Okay, if there's something else you think I need to do. I'm just looking right now. It's only, what time is it? Oh, we've only got about 15 minutes left, if that. No, seriously though, people do call in right now if you can, all right? And just a reminder real quick before I forget, this is the Stephen D. Kelley Show. I am Stephen D. Kelley. It's Sunday night. You're listening to Revolution Radio, www.freedomslips.com. Please go to our site support page and send us a donation. And unlike me, I needed a little specific kind of amount, but we actually consume large amounts to keep the station running. And we're actually hurting because I guess Nighthawk had a lightning strike the other day. It took out a bunch of equipment, which is very expensive to replace. But anyway, yeah, to run the station, it takes a lot of money every month, and we do depend on every little bit that comes in, $1, $5, whatever. If everybody that's listening sent $1, we wouldn't even have to ask for any money anymore. That would be something. No, seriously though, if we did a subscription thing where everybody listening had to donate $1 just to listen, the amount would be ridiculous. It would be kind of like what's his name over there on one of our competitors. I don't know. I can't even think of his name right now. But there's a DJ. You listen to the first half of the show, it's free, and the second half of the show, you have to pay 99 cents. And I guess he makes a lot of money doing that. But whatever. We don't do that. Make no mistake, people. This is a war. Okay, I know we're talking about sex and it's a fun sex show and all that, but it's this is how we do things. Remember, it's no fear. It's all positive. We move forward. We're warriors, and yeah, it's okay to have a good time. If warriors can have good times, and remember, like I said, this is exercise. This is building our chi flow, and it's also helping our fellows, our partner to build their chi flow also. So it's very positive. It's not a negative taboo thing that the church or people would have us believe. All right, very, very important. But again, the reason why we're doing this is because we have a great evil facing us, and destiny requires a large number of people, not a huge number of people, but a sizable contingent of people to essentially wake up, realize their psychic skills, band together, and defeat the dark side. And believe it or not, and I'm sure you guys understand this, but believe it or not, it is written. It is written, truly it is, that we will do this. And that's why we do what we do, because we are a part of that whole process. We have taken this on. I mean, people think I'm crazy. Well, they think I'm crazy, I'm sure, for lots of reasons. But, I mean, seriously, you don't go on Press TV or Russia Today TV and say that the United States is a Nazi, satanic, Zionist-run entity, and that the CIA and everything are a bunch of satanic murderers, and then expect to not get killed, obviously. So the point is that I'm a warrior. I'm way past worrying about getting killed by these bastards, and by the same token, I'm a warrior that teaches our strength comes through our unconditional love and our ability to use our psychic skills. Okay, 425. Who's this?
This is Judy.
Hey, Judy.
Hey, I called you once before with the cards and came up with the devil and a really obnoxious man.
Oh, who would that be?
6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You remember that? Okay.
Yeah.
Turns out my neighbor, who's 8 feet away, just on the other side of the wall, had committed suicide.
Oh,
and
lovely.
He was
real obnoxious.
Kind of, yeah.
So I guess we know where he went. Huh?
He was deeply injured, but
he was less than loving.
That's
interesting, although morbid.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that.
I wondered if you wanted the feedback. Well, I just told
the famous Jude. All right, everybody. This is the famous Jude. So for all of you who are wondering, this is the famous Jude.
Wait,
am I right?
No. I've been listening, and there's a Jude that calls in, and then
you're not you're not the famous Jude. Okay, that's okay. No problem.
This is the other Jude, the other one that we thought was famous, but wasn't the one that we thought was famous.
Oh, this is the one that wanted to know why the other one was famous.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, never mind. We're not going to turn it into the Wise Jude Famous show. But anyway, I'm glad you called in. Hey,
wait, is there?
What? No, this is where I ask you.
Did I do something?
No, you did not do anything. No. Do you have a question? Yeah. Do you have any questions or anything?
No, I had a comment. I'm very, very much enjoying the education uninterrupted. The Reiki was perfect. This has been great. So I'm really enjoying it. It's uninterrupted. You can it's like sitting in a class and getting a good education. And
it is. Huh? It's free.
I would appreciate it if you would,
continue?
Keep it up. I don't know. I can't.
I'll do it. You guys have to. You have to let me know that you like it, and I have to actually know that more people are listening to keep, because I got to go in those directions. But at the same time, this is serious business. I hope you guys understand.
I understand.
Learning Reiki for free is great. I mean, obviously, it's not cheap to learn Reiki. So what you're getting, and especially getting it from me, this is yes, it has a lot of value. Okay, but I'm not doing this because I'm trying to, make myself feel special or anything. I'm doing this because I really want all of you guys to just become magical real quick. I am so darn serious about it. I am dead serious about this. All these people that think this is ridiculous. I mean, magic is it. And I don't even like really using the word magic. Call it whatever you want. Instantaneous manifestation, if that makes you feel better. But that's what's coming. All right? And maybe it's not instantaneous, but we're still manifesting. Okay? And we're going to use these skills.
Well, we need to, because this is how we fight. We fight with light, and the more light we can come up with, the better it's going to be.
Well, okay, then if you want to use that light, then what we're trying to do is we're trying to increase the amount of light flowing through our bodies.
Right. Okay. Exactly.
And by
it changes the world around us.
It changes the world around us. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a big glow. And it's not just the glow. It's also the energy that travels out of our foreheads that we beam. Okay, when we pray, we got this huge beam that goes out to the Creator. Okay, basically. It's faster than the speed of light, and it's infinite. And we do that to our fellow humans too. And this is really, we're trying to turn this on and make this just super powerful. We want everybody running around to have these massive beams of light coming out of their foreheads. That's what we want. And then it's learning how to use it, right?
We definitely need it because everything going on, we just really need to stay focused, stay centered, and try not to look at everything, but look above everything.
It is a sacrifice, though. You know, you do have to choose the path, and it's not free. It is a sacrifice. But hey, if you can have great sex, you know, that's kind of makes it worthwhile, right? I mean, that's what I'm trying to tell people. It's like there are benefits to all this hard work. You know, and boy, it makes you stronger too. Oh boy. No, I really do. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I find that I have to.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What?
I'm sorry. I said we've only got a couple of minutes, but go ahead.
Oh, I just was going to say the sacrifice part. I find that I have to go through my pain to get through it, and when I get through, the reward is peace and wisdom.
Yeah.
And so that's the hard part for me. But it's getting easier because God's showing me some ways to just let it go and making it possible. So it is getting easier, but. Yeah, thank you for what you contribute, and I really appreciate it. And if I could think of subjects to learn about, I would say, but I don't have any in the brain right now.
Well, everybody, you know, all you need to do is just stay in touch, communicate, let me know, give me feedback, and we'll go in that direction, right?
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
All right, thanks for calling.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll try not to be the bad Judy.
Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. That was the less than famous Jude, but hey, we're happy to have her call in. We don't really have any time for another callers, but if we do get another call, we'll certainly take them, and we'll be more than happy to say hello. And I don't really need to give out the number, but if, like I said, if you want to call in and say hi, call in. This program will be on YouTube in a day or two, and you can review it. And obviously, with this sort of material, in the educational nature, it sometimes I guess it is useful. I mean, I take it for granted. I don't prepare for this stuff. I just spew. Sometimes it feels like I'm saying the same thing over and over, but I'm trying to make it interesting, and I'm trying to make it sink in. And I really hope that you guys are enjoying it, and that seriously though, you got to practice this stuff, and you got to make those sacrifices, and if you want to do it, you can do it. It's amazing, and I'll tell you, the stuff that we're talking about tonight, it doesn't just bring it home, it makes it real. And if you are able to use it in such a practical and enjoyable way, it's an exercise, and at the same time it shows you that something's really happening, and it allows you to kind of quantify the results of all your hard work, and that's sort of a fun thing. But again, obviously Reiki, we are trying to heal people, we're trying to heal the world, so these skills will help you do that. Now again, next week I don't really know which direction we're going to go. I know that the physics stuff we needed to cover a little bit more. I may need to look at the course a little bit more and see if what I'm going to do. Anyway, glad everybody enjoyed it. That is the end of the show. My name is Stephen D. Kelley. This is Stephen D. Kelley Show. You're listening to Revolution